This is Pre-Calculus Section 1.4 Notes, Day 1, Part 2. We just have to finish up here our last examples on rationalizing the denominator or the numerator. We've never rationalized numerators before, but we will have an application for this when we get to Chapter 12 at the end of the school year. So right now you might be asking, why would we ever want to rationalize our numerator? You'll find out when we get to Chapter 12. But first, let's take a look at rationalizing our denominator. Now, we don't just have the square root of 5 in the denominator. We have a family here, 3 minus the square root of 5. So in order to do this, we are going to multiply by the conjugate of the denominator. So we're going to begin with our expression 2 over 3 minus the square root of 5. Whatever we do to the bottom, we have to do to the top. And remember, the conjugate is 3 plus the square root of 5. We have to make sure that we are changing the sign on that. I'm going to put a little RTD, that stands for rationalizing the denominator. So now in our numerator, we're just doing distributive property. 2 times 3 and 2 times the square root of 5. So this is going to give us 6 plus 2 square roots of 5. In our denominator, when we FOIL, our inners and our outers are going to cancel out because we're going to get negative 3 square roots of 5 and positive 3 square roots of 5 from our inners and our outers. So we really just have to do first times last, or first times first and last times last. 3 times 3 is going to give us 9. Negative square root of 5 times positive square root of 5 is going to give us negative 5. So now we can simplify this. We've got 6 plus 2 square roots of 5 over 4. And now we can do a little reducing here because all of our numbers or our coefficients here are all even values. So we can do some reducing here with the 6 and the 4 and the 2. But keep in mind that we have to reduce all 3 by the same value. Since they're all even, the biggest factor that they have in common is 2. So we're just going to divide all of them by 2. That is going to leave us with 3 plus 1 square root of 5 over 2 for our final answer. In the second example, as I mentioned, we are going to rationalize our numerator. Again, same process. Our plan is to multiply by the conjugate, but this time it's going to be by the conjugate of the numerator. So here's our numerator, square root of r plus square root of 2. 2 radicals in there this time. That's okay. Over 5. So we're going to multiply top and bottom by square root of r minus square root of 2. Remember, the conjugate always has the opposite sign. And this is our rationalize the denominator step. Okay. So now when we rationalize our numerator, just like before when we rationalize the denominator, this is FOIL again, except the O and the I will cancel out, so we just have to do the firsts and the lasts. So square root of r times square root of r gives us r. And positive square root of 2 times negative square root of 2 is going to give us negative 2. In the denominator, we're just going to be distributing that 5. So we're going to have 5 square roots of r minus 5 square roots of 2. This r minus 2 in the numerator is a family. We can't do anything with our denominator. I know normally we're not allowed to have radicals in the denominator. This is an exception to that. And again, we will see an application for this when we get to Chapter 12 and we learn about limits. So right now, as far as rationalizing the numerator goes, this problem is complete.